I started just almost forcing myself to look forward to it and adopting this sort of Bruce Wayne, James Bond persona where it was like the elevator ride up is going to be funny or fun. Like nobody knows that I'm, that I'm in secret agent mode and I'm here on whatever. It's like, I think it sounds so corny, but I think some of the corniest things in life really do have truth to them, and it helps to build that confidence because once you go to the, like, whether it's the corner bar or the expensive hotel with $20 cocktails by yourself as a man, right? And you sort of figure out you're on this mission, it's gonna last for 4 hours, then you're gonna go home. And once you get back home, it's gonna be like, wow, okay, I fucking did that. You know what I mean? Now I can fucking order pizza and play Xbox or whatever the fuck your thing is and look forward to planning the next thing. Once you force yourself to do that, I would say like 3 or 4 times. I don't want to say second nature because it's not. It becomes like this fun sort of event, right? And I think slowly, if your thing is to approach women, then you can slowly build up to that. But I think what's going to happen is, at least for me, and what I would venture to say is that the more you do that, the more you just kind of like, salter up to the fucking bar and order whatever you're ordering and hang out and look around and keep your head up and look interested, and you sort of exude this confidence.
Coming up on this episode of the Ask Women podcast, we have Dustin from Sex Party, but we're not talking about sex. We're talking about something way more important, and that is going out by yourself. How to master going out by yourself so that you feel confident and comfortable, and how to actually connect with others around you when you are that dude by yourself. And one more thing we talked about was how to detach yourself from outcomes and from women so that they see you as a high status, appealing option that they want to get close to. All on today's episode. Again, the amazing Dustin from Sex Party Podcast. Keep listening. From the Sex Party Sex Party Podcast is on with me today, and we're coming back after 2 months of not doing any shows. So this is a great first performance. Great first. I can't even think. I've been off for 2 months. I don't even know how to use words, but I have Dustin on. He's awesome. And today he and I are going to dive into how to present yourself to women so that they think, believe, know that you're a man who's got shit going on. That's what I think I want to talk about today. So Dustin, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me today.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say it's an honor because I've been watching your stuff on YouTube for at least 10 years. And you were on my podcast, which is an awesome episode.
Fun.
I'm going to pitch you on coming back when we're done recording this because I have a new idea. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's an honor to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. I'm pretty much wearing my pajamas. They can't see it, but whatever.
That's all right. I'm wearing my workout gear. So
we're in the home studio.
We're both comfy.
Yeah.
We're both comfortable, and we're both over 40, so we should be comfortable.
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But no, I'm excited to be here. I'm really excited to be with you today.
Yeah, no, I love having you here. I really liked being on your podcast, and I love the conversation that we did have. So if anybody wants to listen to that, go listen to Sex Party I almost said it again, contest.
That's all right.
I'm hoping there's a Sex Party contest. Maybe that's
there will be eventually, yeah.
Yeah. So, but right now it's just a podcast for people to listen to, not participate in.
Sure.
But go check out our conversation. But I really wanted to talk to Dustin because in his past life, he was a promoter for clubs, bars, and like that gives you a certain kind of clout and access, because anytime that you're the one in charge, you hold the keys to the doors, you are seen as a leader, as somebody to kind of suck up to, but somebody who's like, a little higher on the pedestal. No matter what, subconsciously, that's what happens to people. And so I wanted to talk to you today because I want to teach the guys who are listening how to create that in their own world. Because the guys who are listening are not like, oh, I'm going to quit my job as a really high powered accountant to now become a promoter, or in my part-time like that. So that's not going to happen for them. But I want to dive into ways that they can create this in their own personal lives. Like, let's say most guys who are listening are over 40 years old. Some are divorced, some are not. But tell me, how do guys build that kind of personas that people see them as, number one, guys of value, but men that they want to become close with? Like, how do they do that?
Well, I think, and I think everything you have advised on in the past, and even on my show, like we talk about style and getting a haircut, right? And mine's like, mine's under this hat right now. I look like a fucking serial killer. It's been growing
Right. I'm
all
sure
summer.
it's great when you go out.
Sometimes, but the point is that like those things are great at, I think, not just in a presentation way, but like building confidence. So that's what I really want to dive in on. Like, to me, the way to take down the whole system, right, is that if you can go into a bar or a function or a wedding or whatever it is and just be yourself and be in your own sort of confidence. And that doesn't mean like you're walking in with your chest puffed out and you're, I could beat up that guy. It has nothing to do with that. It has this, it's like this confidence that's like, you don't really care what the outcome of tonight is going to be, not your whole life, but just tonight. Like, so if you're going to a wedding, if you're going to the bar, if you are over 40 and you still have friends, because a lot of us over 40 don't,
Right.
then, and you're going with your buddies, no matter where it is, right? Yeah, do those things. Get your hair cut, wear nice clothes, all the things, whatever. But do it because you want to build your own confidence. And if you're already doing that, awesome, right? But the idea, I think, to me, and what I really want to dive in on, which was really successful for me, is I just gave up any sort of expectation of I never, like, I stopped looking in the at like 19. I would look in the mirror and be like, okay, tonight we're gonna use 15 pickup lines, and I just got so nauseous from doing that for like a year or two that I'm like, you know what, we need to become something. So I became a nightclub guy, right, and did all that, and that sort of afforded me the ability to be like, I have something else going on. I'm so busy with this that I can afford to let go of the expectation of getting late, of getting 10 numbers and whatever. And the second I let go of that, I was just filled with this confidence that all of a sudden, whether it's subconscious, conscious, or like something in the ether, every woman just demanded to be close to that. It was like, wait a minute, you're not paying attention to us because you're. And so, and after my nightclub days were over and we were dealing with like, post-COVID drag and like people were not sure. I was like, I want to test this out. It's 15 years later. I'm going
Yeah.
to walk down to the corner bar in Chicago on a Friday night by myself. And I'm going to sit and I'm going to like just dick around on my phone and like look at the TV, and try not to look awkward and whatever. And just be myself, be interested in whatever. And lo and behold, the experiment worked because within an hour, and everybody's lubed up with booze, like three or
Right.
four people walked up to me and started conversations, all women, some with boyfriends who were arguing, whatever, and some not. And so I think when you let go of this expectation, when you don't take the condom out and put it in your pocket, right, for the night, when you don't have an expectation of like, I'm going to her, like, just go out and have fun, no matter what it is, whether it's the DMV or
Yeah.
or the corner bar. I think once you let go of that, something else fills that sort of void, right? It sort of fills that space, and I think what that is a freedom. You don't care.
100%. But this isn't
Yeah,
an instant thing, right? This is
no,
an
this takes
earned
time.
thing and a learned thing. So I want to dive into
Sure.
two things that you said. So two things that I found really interesting. I found a lot of what you said interesting, by the way. But two things that really stood out for me was the statement that you said, become something. That was really, I want to dive into that after
Hmm.
we talk a little bit more about going out by yourself.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so I know that's a big thing for so many guys. Like a lot of the guys who are in our inner circle program, they're always like, should I go out by myself? Should I go to a club by myself? And I'm like, do it if you want, but like that freaks me out. But yes, like,
Yeah.
but I've done it myself to like grow my confidence and grow my comfort levels. So can you talk to me a bit more about going out by yourself and how to carry yourself so that you are approachable? Like do you
Sure.
just walk in somewhere and you just sit there and wait for people to approach you, or do you actually make an effort to make yourself be seen? Like I want to hear more about going out by yourself and how, because I think that is a great way to
Hmm.
make yourself kind of like we talked about at the beginning of being a promoter, but without the promoter title. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
being that guy that people want to be around.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, let's be honest. I think going out on your own whether it's a restaurant, a movie, even, right? People are so, oh, I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. It is very difficult. It's very, very difficult. For me, I think, I don't know. I just think I moved to LA, 15, well, however long it was. I was only there for like 2 years, but that 2 years, like that first year, I didn't have anybody, right?
Yeah.
And I was like tweeting at random people and whatever. And sometimes you'd be like, "Hey, that's a great idea. Like, come talk to us about it," or whatever. You know how LA is. But
Yeah.
most of the time, it was me and my own, right? In a movie, in a restaurant, and I got really, really used to that. I got really used to being alone, and I think. And again, just being truthful here, like when I'm 2020, I moved back to Chicago, and that when we came out of came out of whatever the pandemic and all that, like when it finally released its from its grasp and whatever, it was really difficult. I had to like psych myself up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. And so I adopted this thing, and it's been written about, and I know a lot of athletes talk about it and whatever, but I almost like developed, I wouldn't say like an alternate personality, but I developed this idea. It was of like, we're going on an adventure tonight. Tonight's an adventure, right? And maybe it's like I'm James Bond and I'm going to the rooftop club with all the hot chicks and I'm going to be fucking by myself, right? And that's the adventure. What's going to happen? Probably nothing's going to happen, but then again, and
That'd be good.
so I started just almost forcing myself to look forward to it and adopting this sort of Bruce Wayne, James Bond
Yeah.
persona where it was like the elevator ride up is going to be funny or fun. Like nobody knows that I'm, that I'm in secret agent mode and I'm here on whatever. It's like, I think it sounds so corny, but I think some of the corniest things in life really do have truth to them, and
Yeah.
and it helps to build that confidence because once you go to the like, whether it's the corner bar or the expensive hotel with $20 cocktails by yourself as a man, right? And you sort of figure out, you're on this mission, it's going to last for 4 hours, then you're going to go home, and once you get back home it's going to be like, wow, okay, I fucking did that. You know what I mean? Now I
Mhm.
can fucking order pizza and play Xbox or whatever the fuck your thing is and look forward to planning the next thing. Once you force yourself to do that, I would say like 3 or 4 times, it just becomes like, I don't want to say second nature because it's not. It becomes like this fun sort of event, right? And I think slowly, if your thing is to approach women, then you can slowly build up to that. But I think what's going to happen is, at least for me, and what I would venture to say is that the more you do that, the more you just kind of like, salter up to the fucking bar and order whatever you're ordering and hang out and look around and keep your head up and look interested, and you sort of exude this confidence. Some single girl who just had her heart broken, or some bachelorette party or whatever, someone's going to ask you to take a picture, someone's
Mhm.
going to like compliment your cologne, right? Something's going to happen, and that will be your opening, right? And that's baby steps. But I think truly, if you force yourself to do it 3 or 4 times, you'll be so impressed with the person that you can be, as well as who you are. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson, is just to, if it feels
Do it.
really, yeah, but if
That's
it
what it
feels
sounds like,
difficult,
just to do it. So it's not really
yeah,
it's not necessarily about doing something when you're there, but, like,
right.
let's say there were some baby steps, right? So, like,
Hmm.
okay, cut to, a guy who's doing this 3 or 4 times, and nobody's approaching him, right?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
he's still sitting there looking around trying to get people to engage with him, right? So there's a
Yeah.
little bit of neediness coming from him.
Hmm.
On the flip side, for the guy who doesn't just sit there and get people to come up to you, what are some actions that guys could take when they are more comfortable with being out by themselves
Hmm.
that can position them as a guy that could get attention? Meaning, I want to go back to this promoter theme because I think it's
Sure.
really good. Like, how, like, so let's say this guy goes to the same place every single week by himself, growing confidence and a comfort level at being there. Like, what is the next step to start really owning that space? Because I'm gonna tell like a quick story. So my friend Zach, when he was younger, for his dates, he would take dates to the same two places every single time. And it's because he's anxious and uncomfortable. And he liked going somewhere where he knew the menu, so he didn't have to like fuss with it and look
Hmm.
like a big wimp who can't decide on what he wants to eat. And he liked to go somewhere where he could, slowly start to know the staff, which made him more comfortable and then could look like somebody who knew the staff which made a good impression on his dates.
Hmm.
So, how can guys start to do something very similar by themselves in one or two spaces that they're going to by themselves? Like, what are the next baby steps after that? Because I think it like directly ties to the become something that you talked about before. So I
Yeah.
want to link it to that. I think it's naturally going to do that. But tell me more about like the baby steps.
Well, an easy one, and you just touched on it, but this is so crucial, and it's absolutely free. It's right in front of you, right, and you don't even realize it. It's the bartender. Okay, like start with the bartender and work outwards. Okay,
Yeah.
so the bartender is going to talk to you because we all know in American culture, like a bartender is pretty much a therapist and whatever, and they want your money, they want you to tip them well or whatever. So if you can get to know a bartender, perhaps two, by making small talk, right? If you know two bartenders, you are gold, because even when you go in there and they're busy, they're going to recognize you. You're going to get all the perks. But if you really take the time to learn their name, learn their story, maybe go in there on a couple slow nights, chat them up so you learn about their sick mother and their dog that had to be put down and all the things,
Right.
and even if you have to write this shit down like in your phone, like this is real, and these are tangible things you can do. When you go back and it's moderately busy or whatever, you automatically have a friendship with someone to talk to. People will notice that, right? And people always like to think like, oh, this guy's sitting at the bar alone, whatever. Yeah, if you look
Alone.
downtrodden and alone, you're going to exude that. But
Mhm.
if you're sitting there and you're having small talk with a bartender and making jokes, you're interesting all of a sudden, right?
Mhm.
There's something
Who's that guy?
above. Yeah, why is he alone? Like, is his girlfriend in the bathroom, or like
Right. And like,
did
oh, why does everybody know him here? Yeah.
yeah,
It just creates
yeah,
curiosity. And I do want to interrupt you for 1 second because
sure.
everything that you're saying, it doesn't have to be at a bar. Like you can do this in a yoga studio. You could do this at a pickleball court. Like it's
Hmm.
really just learning how to expand your
Yeah,
net,
sure.
right? By
Yep.
making your can't speak, social circle larger,
Yeah.
right? That's what you're doing. You're increasing the amount of people that see you.
Yeah, and you're also increasing your confidence, and you're increasing like your skills as a secret agent. You're learning how to communicate with people, how to manipulate people, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, if you notice, and this is advanced, right? But if you notice perhaps someone spilled their drink, right? And Terry, hey Terry, she spilled, can we get a rag and like whatever? You clean up, you fucking get her another cocktail, you don't have to pay for it. Make sure she gets another cocktail, and then
Yep.
you just say, and then you move on.
Yep.
That right there, then she's gonna be like, why did he not go for my number? This is the other thing too, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but attractive women depend on they don't not only do they count on, but they depend on the attention from every male. If you take that
Mhm.
away from a woman, right, even if it's for an instant, they're going to be more interested in why, oh wait, is he gay? Is he, well, why is he not, something wrong with me? I better go look in the mirror and fix my hair. Once that happens, you know what I mean? Once you help someone and you're kind and you don't like stare at her tits and you don't ask her for a number and you go back to whatever you're doing, talking to the bartender, now all of a sudden you're that guy. So this ladder that we're talking about can go from 0 to 60 very, very quickly.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I want to talk a bit more about becoming something, and then I'm going to take a break, and I want to talk more about this like indifference because I think that's really
Yeah,
important as
sure.
well. But yeah, and I think again, it's all encompassing, like of this promoter visualization, right? Of this person who is like at a higher value, higher stature, the person who is in control and in charge. He
Hmm.
has become something. He is of value. He knows all the people there. He holds the control and he doesn't need each individual in front of him. So, like, just keeping that in mind for the guys who are
Right.
listening. But tell me more about becoming something and how that's really important because I want to understand that more.
Yeah, I think, and we've all been at this place in our life, and perhaps there's a bunch of people who are listening now that are at this place, and it's difficult because it sort of it winds up defining your decisions. Obviously, define who you are, I think, and whether it's you're going through a breakup or a divorce and you're alone, or all your friends have run off and knocked up divorced wife or whatever, and you're alone, right? At one point or another, you're alone, you're on your own, and you want to go out, but geez, how could I do that? Oh my God. And so I think there's a crucial choice of like, maybe you're halfway dressed and you're like, this is kind of a bad idea. I'm nervous. I don't want, and you decide not to go. Right.
Mhm.
And you've done that 100 times and you just wind up watching movies and being sad and
Yeah.
whatever. Um, but then there's also a flip side to that. Like, well, what would happen if we did it? Right. Like, what would happen if we just fixed our hair back up and went out? Right. Even if it's just for an hour, and I think the decision is made easier when you can sort of give yourself a reason that's just for you. I remember that there's a book, something I don't know. I'm gonna fucking totally destroy the title, but something about alter ego, and I remember reading it a while ago. It talks about how a lot of athletes, in order to go on the field and just destroy, right? I think Bo Jackson, somebody asked him something, and it was like, hey, you how do you do that? He's like, oh, because when I go on the field, the second my feet touch the field, I'm Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th movies, and everyone's a victim, right? And
Yeah.
so he's like, that mentality not only allowed me to win all these games and kill all these people and win all these fucking rings and whatever, but it also helped me to like develop the confidence to deal with the celebrity lifestyle or whatever. And then there's a whole other thing where people will have like a ring they put on, and once they're wearing that ring, then it's like they're a different person, right? And
Mhm.
for me, I had to give myself something that was fun. I had to, and I love movies, and so I would just kind of just be like, okay, tonight it's not me going out by myself, right? Because if you do that, I feel like it's setting the bar kind of like you're just like, oh, this feels weird. But if you're like, I'm on a mission to go into this club or this bar or this pickleball tournament or whatever it is, nobody knows that I'm here like recruiting information for whoever or whatever. Nobody knows that what's going on in my head. I think if you give yourself something, you become something just for those couple of hours. It just allows you to, I mean, everyone's got an alter ego. I mean, every famous rock star slips into whatever. So find whatever that is for yourself, and just, I mean, you don't have to like tell people
But
like,
give
hey,
yourself
I'm
a persona. Just
exactly. It's
it's
just
just
yours.
for that
Yeah.
mental space and just to be able to visualize and picture it. I have an exercise that I give to most of my, the guys in the inner circle program
Yeah.
and my private clients that's called name your animal. And it's literally just envisioning an animal that to you symbolizes masculinity, leadership, whatever,
Hmm.
strength, right?
Yeah.
And it's just giving that animal I, the most vivid description so that you can put that into your body at a time when you need it most so you can feel
Hmm.
super confident. So it's the same way. It's like whether it's an eagle that you're envisioning or it's James Bond that you're putting into
Sure.
your body, the more clear you can be on what that visual it is, the easier it is to act it out.
Hmm.
So I was just home in Toronto with my family for the summer, and I have a very hard time when I'm home because my parents are like the sweetest people in the entire world. But uh, it's like they were not given this skill set of, I want something and here are the steps to move forward. And I was given this skill, and it's very hard. Like when I'm trying to, anyway, it's very challenging
Sure.
to see people who are very stuck and don't want to take that first step to go forward to improve or better something that it's so scary for them to do that they'd rather just stay stagnant and kind of unhappy. And so a friend of mine advised this book. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways.
Hmm.
And it's an amazing book about like, hey, picture what it is you want, feel the fear. The fear is a good thing. And
Hmm.
then you got to do. Because what you're talking about is really just taking that first leap and that first chance to shake yourself out of this old way of being, visualize somebody new to be, and then moving forward with it, even if it feels freaking horrible and uncomfortable,
Hmm.
it's just doing it. It's like this word effort. Effort is the biggest thing that anybody can do to motivate themselves so that they can grow confidence, become more successful. If they don't have the ability to make a small effort, then they're going to stay the same for the rest of their lives. So I love everything that you said. Like, become something is such like it's a really great way of phrasing it, because it's like, become something else if what you are right now isn't working for you.
Yeah, and it's so funny you said feel the fear and do it anyways, because I took acting classes, and then right afterwards, because I was terrible at acting, right after that I took improv classes. I did not want to
Yeah,
be a
that's the best.
comedian, didn't want to be, but I took them at Second City here in Chicago, where all the famous people went, and improv scared the shit out of me. And on day one, the greatest teacher I've ever had, if I had anything ever close to a mentor, it'd be this guy. His name is Jay Suko. He's a fucking brilliant. Steve Carell taught him. He taught us. He's out in LA now. Lovely, lovely guy. I love this guy so much. And on day one, he's like, first lesson, right? Your brain is an asshole and a liar and will try to keep you away from everything good because it wants to keep you comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Two, anybody that's on a stage is instantly more interesting. Doesn't matter if you suck, doesn't matter whatever. And three, feel the fear and do it anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
those exact words. And so, that's another piece too, is go take a goofy class, right? Like go
Mm-hmm.
take, I mean, that'll help you build your other persona like super easily. And all this stuff sounds so silly, I think, to some people, because I'll get real guys or whatever. But at the end of the day, these are tangible things you can do to build that. And like the other thing I want to add as well, and you can get in here wherever you want because you're the host, but you know, I was thinking when you were talking about what my motivations were to really like just say fuck it and go out there alone, right? And I was someone who was super influenced by James Dean growing up, and obviously we mentioned James Bond, we mentioned Bruce Wayne, all these things. And the thing that I always looked back on, that gave me strength, was that when I watched these guys in their life, in the biographies, and especially James Dean, if you look, the man, everybody wants him, right? He's not trying to be this whatever, or is he? Okay, so there's that
Right,
side.
right, right.
So there's that side of it. But the thing about his confidence and whatever is, if you really look at his life, he's completely alone the entire time, and he somehow manages to go from this Indiana farm boy to literally probably the greatest icon of all time. And obviously there's he died young and all those things, but if you look at his career, his meteoric rise, the guy is just by himself walking around at night, right? And he had this weird knack for meeting people because he was there and he was putting in the effort to at least be out of the apartment. He couldn't sleep. He'd go to the coffee shop at 3 a.m, and so like, in New York or whatever, and he hit the bars and do all the things. He befriended a very famous Italian restaurant. He befriended the family who ran it. When he was broke, they were giving him free plates of spaghetti. I mean, he knew how to do that, but he was always alone. I think me growing up and knowing that, I remember being really scared of moving to LA or whatever the big move was, right? I'm like, well, fuck. There was sort of an, I'm going to throw a leather jacket on. I'm going to do this fucking thing, right? There's that sort of mentality. We're going to take the leap because, it's my sort of mission, or it's my sort of thing. You got to get excited about it. You have to find somebody that you look up to who did it. And you have to realize that that person was probably by themselves doing a
Mhm.
lot of this stuff,
And
so
we're all by ourselves at the end of
sure,
the day,
totally.
right? I
Yeah.
know, but no, but I hear everything that you're saying, and I love what you're saying, because I think that really explained, like, become something,
Hmm.
right? If you
Yeah.
are not happy with what you are right now, become something else. All right, I want to take a quick break so we can hear from our amazing sponsors who help us make sure that this show stays on the air after, I think it's like 11 years or something. I don't know,
Wow.
crazy. But when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about this. You know how you phrased it before, but like disinterest, or this separation, or like, I want to know how to do that with women, and
Hmm.
why that becomes so enchanting for women. So we'll be back in a couple of moments. So listen to our sponsors, guys. Do not fast forward, and we'll be back with Dustin from Sex Party Podcast after this. All right, we are back. Okay, so we're going to talk about detaching,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
disinterest. So tell me more about that, because you mentioned in the first half of the show. Tell me more about like why that is so appealing
Yeah.
to
Well,
women.
I mean, I think, and for me, I, it's really difficult to fake this. Although I've tried, trust me. It's the whole like don't call her until the third day thing or whatever. All that shit can backfire, and some of that's great advice, you know. But for me, I found a natural way of being just kind of like disinterested in all of it in terms of like this girl or this girl or whatever, and before you know it you have a whole roster of women that are trying to get your attention and sleep with you and competing with each other and all these things. But the way that I did it was I just found something that I was super interested in at the time, that was how do we make this party bigger, this nightclub bigger, how do we whatever. And I just dove in head first, right? And in turn, it's like, hey, I should probably go to the gym and iron out the beer gut, and I should, put some muscle on, and like, oh, now I can wear these like, whatever, and oh, maybe I'll go get my teeth white. It once you decide to throw yourself into something, and it could be anything, um, I think you instantly become disinterested and then all of a sudden you've got choices. You have all these like different people, and so then it's kind of like, cool, great or whatever. I remember one time this girl, sent me nudes, and I'm not like shitting on anybody, but they were fine, right? And I remember I text her back and I said something like, what did I say? Was the exact quote was like, "Oh, these are fun," 'cause she's like in the shower or something, and she was just so.
Oh
It,
yeah.
like, and I didn't mean to do that. I was just like on my computer, like trying to get the next episode up or something. And I like look and it's like, oh, these are fun. Put my phone down, and for the next like month, she basically like stalked me. Right? I wasn't being disrespectful, like whatever, like they were okay, but but even if they were
Yep.
great, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god. But like, I just feel like when you are a bit aloof, when you're a bit more interested in yourself and your own success versus trying to score with chicks, I think all of a sudden the irony of life is that every chick is
They
like
come to you.
trying to score
That's
with you.
interesting.
Yeah.
So actually what you're saying as a tool is to be interesting to women and make them interested in you, you have to become interested in other things. Like so
Yeah.
that they become the top priority. It's when you do sort of recognize or you're honest with yourself and saying, my interest right now is just getting a girlfriend.
Hmm.
That's when you're going to pounce. You're going to seem eager or needy. So,
Yeah.
so the trick at that point is say like, I'm too interested in women. I have to take a break and become
Sure.
interested in something else that pulls my focus so that this woman with a smile and like boobs
Yeah.
doesn't have all of my interests. Something else does, like something else that's pulling you.
Yeah, and I think let's be honest. Geez, I don't know what the hell's going on with my throat, but okay, we're gonna get through it. Let's be honest. I mean, women, the number one thing, and I mean, you can push back on this or whatever, but the number one thing that women are interested in, no matter how you look, how you sound, what you do for a living, is ambition. And
Mhm.
like, if you're ambitious about your computer programming business or your podcast or whatever it is, and that's going to draw interest from other women. And so the other thing too is I I wanted to become a nightclub promoter because I didn't want to use pickup lines anymore ever.
Right.
I was stupid, and I was like, "This is dumb." I feel like I'm in the rat race. Like, ugh, brother, ugh, kind of, I'm like, I don't want to do this. So I found sort of an elevation. So maybe that for you is a podcast. Maybe that for you is writing a book. Maybe that for whatever it is, I would advise find a way to elevate yourself in front of others. And what you'll find is when you do something that you're interested in for that elevation piece, all of a sudden all your focus and energy is going towards that. And as a byproduct, all these women are going to notice and come flooding in, you know what I mean? And it does work because I think women are attracted to men who know what they want, but they're
Mhm.
more attracted to men who are actually doing what they want and going for it and working hard and whatever. It's just something that's in our human DNA,
Well, it
right?
just means you have potential for survival. So that's who I'm gonna go after, the person who like makes things happen. But the person who talks about making things happen in the beginning is extremely intriguing as well. They just
Sure.
become really boring and dull and frustrating when they don't actually take action later on down in the relationship. But in the beginning, it can
Yeah.
definitely wow a woman. So thanks for sharing that, 'cause I think that's a really good way to explain it for guys. And I think we provided a really great tip on
Yeah.
just how to like get over that over interest and that neediness edge. Like, I think it's really just identifying it first and then funneling your attention towards something else. Like,
Hmm.
my son has this natural ability. Like, if he's into something, he's fully into it and nothing can distract him. My other son has no skill set for that as well. So it's something that he's going to have to trick himself
Sure.
into doing so that he can have that same persona. My point is that it can come naturally to some people, or
Hmm.
it's something that you actually have to work on, which leads us back to effort. And that's how you make things happen, grow your confidence, and ultimately become the yourself
Yeah.
that we're talking about. All right. I'm going to wrap up this show because I think we have explained a lot of really great information for the guys listening to this show, given a lot
Yeah, for
of the
sure.
introduction. But Dustin, thanks so much for coming on and explaining this to the guys. Tell people about the sex podcast, what it's about, how they can listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Again, it's an honor to be with you. The legendary Marnie, Wing Girl. I mean, come on. This is awesome.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. That makes me uncomfortable, but okay.
you got to get used to it because I'm just going to keep doing it every time
It was
we
weird. Oh my God. I
collaborate.
was like walking home from dropping my kids off at school today. I was on the phone outside of the bookstore that's around our neighborhood. And this guy, like across the way, was like, I'm a huge fan of yours. And I was like, that's so uncomfortable for me, but thanks. Okay, cool. Yeah. Anyway, I still will never be comfortable with it. I live in a box right now where nobody can see me. So it feels strange to hear those things.
Well, that's the best kind of legend, the ones that don't believe that they're a legend. So,
Thank
I appreciate it. I'm sure they do too. Yeah, again, thanks for having me on. You can check out Sex Party. So Sex Party every single Wednesday. We're coming up on 3 years. In a couple months, it'll be 3 years of every single Wednesday. I will never miss a Wednesday. You'll always be able to tune in and look. The show is everything from porn stars and sex parties and orgies and threesomes to like dating and dating apps and dating coaches. You never know who you're going to get, but I can guarantee every episode is an equal, tightrope walk between complete chaos and total value, right? So if you're not laughing and your jaw's not on the floor and you're not shocked, but you're also like not coming away with it with something that like, oh my God, I can put that into practice today, then I have failed. And I haven't failed yet. So you can check out the show everywhere podcasts are available and on YouTube. It's Sex Party with Dustin Ribka. The Instagram is at sexparty.fm. And by the time this goes out, I would imagine that sexparty.fm will be an actual official website. So you'll be able to go there too.
There you go. I love it. All right. So, guys, go check out that podcast. Go check out the link that I sound like a 50-year-old as I'm speaking. The link that he gave you, go type it into your thing at the top of the
Your
web.
computer. Yeah.
Your computer. Go use the interweb. But Dustin, you're awesome. Thanks for coming on the show. It's so easy to like riff with you and just talk. So this was a great first show back. I got my
For
brain working
sure.
again and super excited. New episodes of the Ask Men podcast come out every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Please do not go and download individual shows. Go and subscribe to our show so that the time you would have used downloading a show, you can use going out to social places in your neighborhood by yourself and interacting with the people around you. All right. We love you guys. Thanks for supporting us. We'll see you next week.